Charlotta.
And I'm Vicky, and welcome to the School of Pattern Cutting.
In this series of fashion analysis, we are looking at lots of different garments we thought might be interesting and which have really interesting pattern cutting ideas. This one is a Halston or Halston.
Mm-hmm.
If you're American, let us know how you would pronounce Halston. We don't know. But it's a Halston jacket. I think it's one of the lesser known garments. I've only ever found one image in a Tatlo, Habit Bazaar. It's a wool jacket and it's beautiful because it's all made of one piece. So the whole garment, apart from this collar, is cut out of one piece.
So apart from this little bit of stand here.
Oh, that's two actually, but
yeah. Everything else is one piece. So it's quite a fascinating pattern when you lay it out flat, because you look at it and think, how does that work?
Yeah. And talking of Halston, it's really interesting because he was all about drapey. So you might, if you think of Halston, it's like Studio 54, Bianca Jacker, White Horse, lots of drapes,
lots of bias cutting, lots of sort of slinky evening wear, and you don't really associate him with a structured jacket.
Yeah, but he'd actually cut a few sort of less theatrical pieces as well, which is one of those which is probably quite commercial for him.
Yeah.
But still amazing. So let's start with the collar, which is a really clever, it's like a lapel collar. So we haven't done a video, but a lot of people have asked. We will at some point make a whole course on lapels because there are tailored collars are very tricky. So you have to sort of do in depth. But you can see, this is a trowel again, so it's all single layers. But you can see, if you turn it round, it's got a banana band, so it's got two-piece.
So that's like
collar.
a little mini stand, isn't it, to keep the collar up at the back?
I turn it again, and then that goes into nothing, which is why it's called a banana, because it's the shape of banana. And then you got your top collar, so it's like a shirt collar, and then you got your lapel, which is attached to your front.
So because this is a one-piece garment, this is all one piece, So you can see that's one piece of fabric there.
So it folds really nicely.
And because this is a toile, these are faced just to make so they can sit nice and flat on here.
Yeah, and talking of trowels, you might have noticed this is not your usual calico, and this is made out of quite a nice wool flannel. And the reason being, this is like a third sample, so it's more like what you would call a salesman or final sample, because sometimes if you make it in calico, you can't actually tell how the garment's going to fit, because especially as the pattern cutting is quite complex. So by making it out of a cheap wool cotton, you can certainly see how it's going to fit in your expensive
But the flannel's quite soft, so it will drape. When we talk about the shoulders, it will drape onto the shoulders nicely, whereas a calico won't do that, and it would look a bit stiff, and you'd be thinking, oh, that's not quite the look I was after. So sometimes it does help to make it out of a similar weight fabric to the one you're going to do the final garment.
And also, if you want to check fit and movement, and calico is so stiff and unforgiving, you can't really do it. But with wool, you can see how it's going to drape around your
with this wool, you can see you'll be able to move your shoulders into it. So with a calico, you would just sit there be a bit like cardboard.
So let's talk about the sleeves. So if I turn it round, so you can see it's got a normal shoulder seam, which then actually turns into a pleat. Can you see? So it's like similar to our puffed sleeve tutorial, but there's just a pleat in here, and then there's actually no seaming at all. So the only seam is the underarm seam, which goes into your side seam, but there's no seam at the top like a normal raglan or gusset sleeve.
There's no shoulder armhole seam at all.
So no satin sleeve. So it's really clever. So the front and the back are all one piece, and then the shaping happens to where the shoulder opens, so you can fit it around your top, and then a pleat to fit it around your shoulder.
So if you imagine your pattern is split there, isn't it? Like that. So this is where you split it, and how then you put that together to form this shaping here, don't you? So
So really and then if you talk about the one sleeve, so you can see there's that one seam going from your sleeve to your side, and then if you turn it to the front, you can see there's no seams or shaping. So it sits, all the shaping happens in the side seam. So it's just slightly fitted. It's not very fitted.
And it's really nice for me. I really like this sort of horseshoe shape here that sits very nicely. And you imagine that the reason why this looks really elegant is it's because it's in this fabric. But in a stiffer fabric, it's not going to work.
No, you wouldn't be able to move.
You've got to have really good fabric choice with this.
So you got that shaping happening in the side, as Vicky said. If you turn it round now, you can see at the back again, it's one piece, and the back goes into a sleeve, which then goes onto the front. So the whole garment only has got that shoulder seam and the side underarm seam.
Yeah. So if you're not a fan of sewing, it's probably quite a good garment to make, but it's quite a complex pattern.
So it's one of those where once you know the technique, it's actually easy to make, but trying to work it out, because I was working from a 1970s photo which aren't very clear and I had no back view. It's how to work it out, but it's all one piece, and how to fit it together is a tricky bit. And so this is sort of a garment which looks really simple, fits really nicely, but it's really clever. So it's sort of one where people suddenly look and say, ooh, there's seams at the sleeve.
Yeah, and I think that makes it very elegant and very sophisticated as a garment, whereas you could just sort of do quite a normal jacket, but then you look at this and think, oh, actually, where does that... And as we say, it's from the 70s, I think they may have had a shoulder pad in here.
Yes, they would definitely have a shoulder pad.
So if you imagine the 70s shape would be like this, but actually if you let it hang in this fabric, it forms a very nice, very contemporary Chanel curved shoulder, doesn't it? So it's those sort of ideas that the fabric can make all the difference in the world, or the underlying, how shoulder pads, or what
you might even do like a normal sleeve, but just keep that pleat idea, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be very So you could have, because we've talked about putting pleats in and making it slightly puffs, and then it becomes a slightly different look. But that's the beauty of pattern cutting, that you can try all these things out, can't you? And go, did it work? Did it not work? So.
And it's also, I think, the garments which you could probably fit better when it has a satin sleeve. But this is one of those garments we appreciate when it's very cleverly made, when it drapes on your body. And of course, Halston at the time was a really expensive designer, really high fashion. Yeah. So this garment would have been expensive, and it had to be clever for that amount of money. That's what he was renowned for.
I mean, what I like, and I know it's not a Halston thing, is I really like this raw edge. And I think actually that could be a very contemporary look. So you could cut this as a raw edge. I mean, we've had this garment made for a long time now, and it hasn't frayed. And I think that could be quite interesting. And again, that's very Chanel a couple of seasons ago, where they had a load of raw edges. Yes. And I think that could be really interesting to have a look at.
And I think because it could look really dated if you lined it fully and put your shoulder pads on. But as Vicky said, if you use the really heavy felt on, for example, with a really nice winter jacket, or even a neoprene.
Oh yeah,
it wouldn't work with a sleeve sweat belt.
But you could do it with like a almost like a slightly thicker backed silk, which could actually then give you a structure that sits like this, so then becomes quite avant-garde rather than a jacket if it was in the wool, whereas actually you could actually wear it. So there's lots of different things to think about when you design garments and when you look at garments.
So let us know what you think about this garment. Would you like to know more about it? Would you like to see some patterns to actually work out how it looks? So don't forget to please comment, let us know, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much.
Thanks.